You're right.
Oh, thanks. The hard copies. Okay.
And I got some photos in there too of the areas.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's still spinning. I don't know. Anyway, it should be working. Okay, so we didn't last month. So I don't know if everybody remembers. Okay, now it's fine. Everybody remembers from 2 meetings ago. Let me refresh. Pass around. So we have an updated plan with some more detail and details on topo and some things that were did, and the application form's been updated to reflect the square footage of wetlands on the parcel and disturbance proposed in the wetland and 560 square feet of review area. So we got those little housekeeping things squared away. So it's for master bedroom addition, and Gillette's Brook crosses right in the front of the property. And this is kind of the furthest point from, but it is going into the hillside, so they have to cut it slope.
Yeah, at the November meeting, I did. That's what we talked about then, but we said we'd agree to accept the application. We'll need to present a site plan that is to scale, includes topography, where the stockpile for materials will be, where straw bales will be placed, etc. Because I think the first one was just a general.
It was.
Here's
It was
the
like,
circle.
oh no!
I was like, quick, the meeting's tomorrow.
Hopefully this one looks a little better. Don't
Yeah,
have a
it's
cat.
Square Builders, right?
Yes. For the construction traffic going to the site, it's really just going to be the excavator to dig the foundation. That's it. There's not going to be any dump trucks or anything else.
Okay.
They'll park right on the way and walk right there. It's
Okay.
20 feet from my driveway.
I
Okay.
feel like you've been here for all of these lately.
And if there's anything he kicks out, I'll sweep it off at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah.
If anything, he'll be going in and out maybe twice, you know.
Right.
I figure he'll do his thing and then drive out. And that's it.
Okay.
And you can see the pathway, it's all vegetation. So he's got about 60 feet of vegetation he's got to drive over before he
Yeah,
even
it's just, they tend to have a way of digging up people's lawns. And,
Yeah, yeah.
Are those photos?
oh,
too?
yes, sorry.
Kind of sketched on him.
Yeah.
So the stockpile, whatever is left, I have 3 stumps that I'd like to bury. So none of the dirt's really going to get left out. Or taken out, I should say.
Like they'll come in.
Yeah. Right around that archway.
Yeah, we were talking about the construction entrance because the brook crosses from in front of his house under the road, and then it emerges then like right across the construction entrance. I just want to make sure that wasn't going to be tracking into the road, that sort of thing.
Oh, right here.
Oh, okay.
That's the culvert. It starts, comes up in
Okay, that's the house.
there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the base of the addition will be about 10.5 feet above the water level.
What did you say about you're going to have out too?
Buried.
Buried?
Yeah.
The motion?
Yes.
Okay. So I will make a motion to approve application 798, 301 Mountain Road addition with the Upland Review. Based on the commission finding that the applicant has submitted all necessary application materials pursuant to section 211-7 regulations, including but not limited to section 211-7. Alternatives considered and rejected. The commission did not find the proposed applicant, and the commission finds that the criteria set forth in section 10B have been met by the applicant.
I'll second that.
Okay. Joanna, did you have any other comments?
No, I think he's got everything on there. And yeah, the one kind of remaining thing was that construction entrance. He's representing it being vegetated, and that be careful to sweep if anything were on the road. But keep an eye on to get dug up, putting some stone down, gravel. But it is a smaller piece of equipment going in and out, so hopefully it won't make. But yeah, keep an eye.
Did anybody else have any questions? Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
All right. So I'll do some paperwork and publish a legal notice. There's technically your is approved tonight and valid, but there's this 50 appeal period where it's sort of built at your own risk in case.
I'm sure he's not going to be digging for a while.
Yeah. But I'll be following up. I'll send you the permit
All right, excellent.
next week.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion and possible decision application 800 Lincoln Road subdivision with proposed driveway and upland review and Mark Pollock.
So it's technically old business. I haven't had a presentation yet, so I presume we won't be ready to act on it. I mean, you'll hear your presentation and see what you think. Technically, you could act on it tonight if you felt everything was resolved, wrapped up. But there may be some, items that we'll want to discuss and maybe see edits or anything like that.
There you go.
Oh, there's another one. Everybody got some.
There's another. Yeah, I think there's a couple there.
You have enough? I got enough.
Yep. No, I think we're good. Thank you.
Oh. There's a lag on our. No, we might want to just shift it just in case anyone's watching.
Oh.
I'm just realizing it's just off the. Yep. It's like I could see this green chair, but not.
Yeah.
So now I'm walking over.
Oh, I see.
That time.
I know. All right, it's still not quite on there. Yeah, maybe a little front. Yeah, a little bit.
That's where Bobby is.
Right there,
See
right?
it?
That's where I was
The schoolhouse.
That should help you
Yeah,
with
she used to.
okay.
I think that's her sister. I'm not sure. His sister. lives
Color's
up in
always
that
helpful.
Milton house when the mother was still alive.
Where did he moved to Stafford?
Seen him, yeah.
So we're the subdivision proposal to add one additional lot, so it would turn this one lot into two, and the wetland area in green up toward Hampton Road off the south, like on the edge it goes over onto the and so it's really the driveway for lot 2 that's in the upland review area. More work associated with that. But I'll let these gentlemen present what they'd like.
Andrew Urbanowitz for the record. I'm Mark Pollack's counsel on this project. Background on the site. There was a house here until somewhere around 2017. We don't really know whether it burned down or was. That is beyond the knowledge of my client and myself. It wasn't there, just the property. The area that's in the wetland area on the map is previously had structures on it that were demolished, so that native ground. And basically what my client's looking to do is split this lots, one to build a new personal residence on, and the other sell off to someone else. And I have our engineer, Glenn, here tonight, and he can take you through the engineering if you would like.
Yeah, we did previously have, I think I'd sent it out last month, a report from the soil and wetland scientist who had gone out, because the shape of the wetland, it's a little isolated pocket, so immediately, could it be a vernal pool? But it was investigated for vernal pool characteristics and deemed that it would not support vernal pool breeding. So we have that write-up of the nature of that wetland as that we can refer back to. But yeah, if there's anything you want to describe on the site.
Sure, I can go through the site.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn, chief architect with Design Professionals. And I'll just walk you through the plan. 3 bedroom homes are proposed for lot 1 and septic systems, and you can see the septic systems here and there. This being lot 2. The soils are suitable for septic systems, determined by the soil test pits that we performed. Lot 1 is approximately 1 size. Lot 2 is approximately 2.5 acres in size. The minimum lot size for this zone, A1, is just under 1 acre, 40,000 square feet. Each lot will have a separate driveway, as you can see off of Hampton Road. Construction entrance will be located at each entrance to help minimize any disturbance during construction from silt or sand to the road. House on lot 1 is set back from the road approximately 51 feet. The front yard setback is 50 feet. And the rear is set back about 38 feet from the side. And the minimum setback distance is 25 feet. Proposed silt fence is located, you'll see this on sheet in the set. I don't have it here, but we're proposing fence along the driveway here and wrapping around the septic system. The fence around this septic system. And the silt fence will also be along the entire lot 2 driveway, preventing falling into the wetlands. Let's see. All disturbed areas on both lots are ceded to lawn. The light green areas are the lawn areas. Excuse me, including the 3-1 slope in the back of house lot number 1. That'll be a permanent lawn seed mixture. Existing vegetation near the wetlands will remain. So this whole area is disturbed. It's got a brushy now that'll remain undisturbed, including these 2 are remain. And we did our best to maintain as much of the woods we possibly could with the proposed grading. So the dark green areas are the woods that's a good portion of woods there. And the closest point to the wetlands is 89 feet from the edge of the proposed driveway, right about there, 89 feet. And that's about all, unless you have any.
So you're clearing pretty much all the trees off of lot 1. It looks like it's more than half now, so you're going to clear all of, make the entire area lawn.
We have some trees that will be staying at the top of the slope, and these trees along, well, the existing vegetation along the road will remain, except for the driveway. We'll be able to save some of the trees there, and also some of the trees there as well, as a buffer to the new development.
What's the, I can't read it, elevation here on lot 1?
Oh, from the bottom of the slope?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
104 to
elevation 104 up to 126.
So you're honing in on, this is something we've been back and forth a little bit on because, and I don't have a hard copy of the latest revision. I have like the prior copy, but we were back and forth about the slope because I had been measuring it more than 3 to 1, and it's very long. I think it, like at longest run, 88 feet, that slope. So I'm concerned about permanently stabilizing it with long additional measures. So we were back and technically there's 3 to 1's kind of a tipping point where over 3 to 1 you need more, under 3 to 1 you can theoretically keep it at 1. But when I print out the plan and measure, I get 34%, which I realize is close to 33.333, but it's over. So I'm literal, but I'm concerned about that slope, consistent. I thought something, a retaining wall, or and most people generally want a level lawn area anyway. So I thought something like retaining wall might be an added benefit in a couple ways to limit that slope. And I don't want to prescribe a retaining wall, but there's other solutions that could work too. But that was just my thought, especially because ultimately that slopes and leads down to the wetland area.
What clear all the woods there? I mean, that's not going to be usable as a backyard. It's just going to be a somewhat steep slope of grass, right?
Yeah, we needed to slope because the existing grade kind of bumps out here. Necessary to make a nice even slope, so we really had no choice.
Okay, so you're going to take the trees down and then grade it.
Yes, yeah. Lawn at the minimum. We could possibly plant some shrubs there to help stabilize some native shrubs, if you prefer that. Or maybe conservation mix could be at the top of the slope. Something a little more than grass.
I've been kind of eager to, I don't know if it's a printing difference on the plans, but I keep coming up with more than 3 to 1. So I'm curious if it's like a printing or what.
It is, yes, yeah, because in the computer it definitely is 3 to 1. Then over to the right and to the left, it becomes less than 3 to 1. It's more like less than 30% here, and then over here it's more like 20%. So
yeah, there I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah, it does flatten out a little bit on the edges. 3 to 1. It is definitely 3 to 1 as designed.
And there's other, the erosion sediment control guidelines. They're guidelines. They do have other language in there. I think if slope is greater than 15%, it shouldn't be longer than 75 feet. So we certainly have that condition here. So there's just, reasons I'm concerned. I've seen slopes with a lot of establishing, so I worry about 80 of a continuous 3 to 1 slope in general.
I did check that in here, 56 feet, so a little bit less. And the part that gets to 80 feet is only that small area there.
Yeah.
Where is the
The other proposed house way in the back there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it there?
Yeah. Oh, yes, yeah, the brown rectangle.
I mean, that's the one that's up at the top of the hill?
Yes. Yeah.
Those are both proposed.
Yeah, but there is a house further up. Right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be on our site, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that went with that land at one time, I think.
Oh,
Talking
I
about
see.
this one then?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's a separate lot.
and it looks like it's grass there. too.
They have what?
Property with a haunted house.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
someone was saying
exactly.
that.
This, you talking about this business?
Yeah.
Someone called it the witch house or something.
Yeah, it's decorated for Halloween. I know that to be true.
That has to come back.
Bring it back.
I'm sure my client's open to it, but I'm not sure you can condition it.
So, what do we know about the wetland? Like, is it delineated? Is
Yes.
it based on, okay.
Yes, it was delineated. We had, like, early on, you reached out to me a year ago or so, and
Yeah, we got delayed due to some a surveyor.
yeah, and we had talked about, because an initial plan had, approximate wetlands, but we went back and forth, and Kate Bednaz went back out and we reconfirmed the wetland line. I'm like, I just had.
It's just that pocket, because I know, like, Thrasher Brook runs through there, but it's not something more contiguous to the brook. It's just that pocket, and then there's separation, and then there's the brook to the south there.
That's my understanding. I would say I have yet to walk the site still, so I still need to be there with kind of the delays in the process. I still hadn't made it out there, but yeah. So we do have a report along with the plans from Freshwater Wetland Services describing land and and just referring to one isolated wetland. Let's see, it's into the off-site. And yeah, there was no ponding water even in March. And it was a grassed pocket wetland supported by groundwater and surface water runoff.
It looks like there's something in it, right, based on this aerial? It's right in here.
It's probably shade based. It's hard to tell, from the aerial if in it or just but I'll take note of that when I go out. But
Did planning approve this?
not they can't until we do. Yeah.
Just came one day and it was gone. They flattened it right there. That house.
Oh, that. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. There was never a fire.
So I would just ask for some revisions to this plan. One being, that you mentioned.
Yes.
If correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's actually depicted on here, right?
On the development plan, which is part of the submission set,
Okay.
which is CD1, I believe.
Gotcha. All right. Scratch that then. If it's always on one of the plans, so maybe
Yes.
some of this else is on
Yeah.
here too. So
That's on you see GD1.
it looks like the current line of trees and vegetation, and then you've essentially shown with this darker green
Yes.
the limit of clearing, right?
Right.
Maybe that's labeled on one of those plans, but if not, like I would
Oh,
make
it
sure
is.
it's clearly labeled as the limits of clearing.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, it is, but I'll double check.
And I have an older. I should have reached out and just asked you to bring.
I do have a complete set here.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that.
Okay.
Then.
It's not stable.
But that's okay. But yeah, let me see. On the prior version, shows the silt fence, and it does. So so the areas you have, it does show the boulder proposed tree line, but the one by the road doesn't indicate whether it'll be maintained or not.
Okay.
It's not bolded. It's like the prior.
Yeah, okay.
But if there's going to stay, that'd be nice to
Okay.
note.
Okay.
Yeah, I think actually that's probably about it for me.
How
Just-
wide is that proposed paved drive? 10 feet? 100?
The width is 12 feet for both driveways?
Upper 12 feet. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And the number one will be just a driveway, and lot number 2 will have a paved driveway because of the steepness of the slope.
Propose like what type of snow removal happens on that, and 'cause we don't really want salt leaching into that wetland.
Oh, on the hill. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. It's kind of in the woods too, so.
The slope of the driveway, I know I had triggered the whole, but depending on preference, you could just pave like that stretch that abuts the property that's steeper.
Yeah.
Like the areas, the beginning and the end that aren't as steep could be gravel if they prefer.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's at least my understanding. It's more of like a zoning issue, but I think it's, you know, the portions exceeding 10%,
Okay.
up to 15% would be paved. So I have seen that done where it's been like section paved, and I know pavement's expensive, so.
That's a good option. Yeah, thank you.
Well, that would limit some of the runoff here too if we put some of it as gravel.
They have some, up the road from us, they have a big stockpile of crushed road, you know, when they all that stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are using that, and it keeps the dust down, and it gives a good driveway.
Oh, what's it called?
It's crushed
Like a-
out
like a
asphalt.
milling.
The millings. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's mostly gravel probably there, and then they would, you know, they could put that in and have a nice drive.
Okay.
It's on, way up on Woods Road.
Okay.
That they have it. I don't know who controls it, yeah?
Okay.
Bruce, no.
I don't know, I don't live there anymore.
No. But I see them hauling it out of it. They, when they put it in Howell Hill Road, they crushed it off. Thing is up there.
Oh, they get it from DOT.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I think it shut everything down for a while, I know.
Nothing else except the water.
Yeah, right. That would be gravel.
So yeah, I mean, generally, as far as the subdivision plan goes, we're not seeing a lot of work in the upland review area, so I don't have wetland impact concerns. Just my main one, not to keep beating it to death, would be that slope. But have you, you know, does it not give you concern like that length and grade of slope to be permanently lawn? Any like rills or issues with stabilizing or during construction?
Yeah, I think it'll be all right. Yeah, because 3-1 isn't too steep. I know it's quite a distance, but
Yeah.
yeah, once the lawn gets established, additional. If you wanted us, that might help a little bit too. I think.
Right. Or if you wanted a conservation mix in that area, you know, we're open to all that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would help, like a conservation mix, and
Okay.
you know, since it's level anyway, it might be nice. It could be kind of like habitat and everything else, but
For the whole slope, or just a portion of it, maybe.
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, there's areas towards the road that aren't as steep that might not be as concerning, but you can kind of see what works.
Okay.
But is there, you know, is there a preference or reason not to do either some kind of like terrace or retaining wall or something like that?
Oh, well,
I think the client doesn't really want it, and
Okay.
he'd prefer to keep it more natural area.
Well,
So, you know,
Lawn as far as from natural as you can get.
I mean, I would
But-
think you would want some trees in
Yeah.
that upper right corner.
'Cause
A little bit of
maybe you could keep some
privacy,
trees and
too.
then have a retaining
Yeah.
wall or something.
And
But
not have that going all the way up into the corner there. I would just think cheaper and easier to leave some trees there.
Did you say your client was planning to?
He's
The
gonna live.
front
He's
house?
gonna live in the front house.
Yeah, okay. So that's his yard that we're talking about.
Yeah, which is
Oh, the
all-
client's living in the front one. Is that lot one? Oh, yeah, I did right.
Oh,
Whoops. And that was lot one there.
'cause I'm all about
I just want to see what's going on back there.
Yeah.
Right, but from a wetland standpoint,
Not a whole lot.
yeah, as long as soil stays in place and it's not a constant issue, I don't see any like major concerns otherwise.
we see a reason why we couldn't act on this tonight.
I guess just whether, I'm not sure that there was like a extreme rush on it. If you'd rather than have a lot of, have just a cleaner plan encompassing what questions were, but
Well, I'm not sure they want to change it anyway, so if they
Well,
wanted
Well,
it
but
all
adding
on
more
it-
of where that trees were going to stay, right?
and they said they could do like a conservation mix on the parts that are going to remain a slope. That'll be opened up, but
Right, well, if there's no problem with waiting another month, for the
yeah, this one was
applicant.
received last month. Have a timeline issue.
There's somebody go through the plan and so on, right?
Yeah, which is gonna take a while also.
Yeah, so this, let me just double check on that. Yeah, so this was submitted to the December meeting, so it's just been received. So we don't need, there's no extensions or anything needed to go on another anyway, because you have 65 days to act without extensions.
That whole road too has quite an embankment, a lot, but, and then they should be careful with it and leave it like it is, you know? Been there forever. You know, when it comes down to the highway there, quite a taper all the way along,
Oh, okay.
you know?
Yep.
It's keeping it out of the road. I bet it's a 9-foot level, not high off of the.
What is you guys' timeframe for breaking ground and all that? I mean, you guys planning and all that stuff.
I mean, it's honestly, it's been in progress for a few years. So I think ideally, though, my client would like to have this in April if he can. So it's optimistic.
Done, like, with all approvals of the town, or are you talking about just wetlands?
All the approvals, if we could,
Did you already submit to planning or not yet?
to see what the Wetlands Commission
Oh,
does
okay.
here through you guys. So.
Oh, okay. I would say you might as well submit to planning and because by the time they would approve it, I don't remember their meeting schedule, but
Yeah, we didn't want to get in a situation where their hearing came up before.
yeah,
commission.
right.
I would just know that we could approve it on February, whatever, first ones.
Yeah.
So not to put it on their agenda before that, but to get on the agenda right after our meeting.
Yeah, so
So
ours,
through planning and zoning, whatever.
yeah, and ours is February 7th.
Right. Any other
So we
questions?
agreed that some edits, revisions to those plans are gonna.
Yeah, we'll see what they can work out, and what else you had mentioned, just a bit of clearing being more clear. And was anything else?
Not that I could think of. So.
On this one, where you'd want to see the permanent delineation, or no?
I mean, I kind of doubt that they're going to be doing that on that part of the land.
Right, it's not by the house. It's common, like that they'll require posts with tins saying where the wetland boundary. But often it's, a house might be next to the wetland. In this case, it's just down by the end of the driveway, so it might be less tempting of a place to.
Well, and half of it is on the.
You could put a
abutting
little
property,
sign up
too.
that says
Right.
entering upland review area. Thank you for
Proceed.
visiting.
Asking if it, led to a more expansive wetland that eventually drained into the brook, which it doesn't sound like it does, because if it's literally just that pocket, I don't see a ton of.
Yeah.
We'd only be marking half of it, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No trespassing.
All right. I think you're all set.
All right. So I think just those few revisions we talked about, and
Okay.
probably
Sure.
be enough to approve it next month.
Good.
So maybe February 7th.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not hearing anything about any significance or any hearings needed or anything.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We
I can
leave-
keep
we
that,
yeah,
so-
we can
okay.
leave you those
Oh,
plans.
Definitely, yeah.
All right. Save someone a trip down.
I'll leave you with the board as well.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure, you can
Okay.
Well, thank you this year. Oh.
We'll make sure you have revision. We'll
Okay.
paper out the revisions. so you
I
have-
appreciate it. I'm going to get my scale out and see if I can on this one than the one I printed, because
Thank you.
I feel like a
Very
crazy
good.
person.
Thank you.
I don't know.
It's on to be 3-1 in the computer, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to bore everyone and play around with it now, but I'm curious if I'll mess around with it, and then I'm curious if you measure it on paper what you come up with.
Okay.
Depending on what I get, but maybe I'm crazy.
Actually, both.
Okay. We have people for both of the next item.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Discussion of watch out agricultural stormwater management.
Okay. So,
Here to discuss
Brandon, do you think? I don't know if Owen's still. Do you know if he's still planning on coming? I don't know if we should skip you or talk. Or okay. I didn't mean skip you altogether, but or whatever. But okay.
You say he was, so.
Yeah. Okay. It didn't sound like he was coming, but that's okay. You can always chime in if he shows up. Okay. All right. We're just here for kind of a constructive conversation. Stormwater runoff was seen down Watchog Road, that intense rain event, for Christmas. I called and talked with Brandon from Oak Ridge, and we talked about what might have contributed to that, and he offered to come talk about kind of the practices that they utilize on the farm to kind of prevent this sort of thing, but sometimes there's a perfect storm. And talk about what might be going on otherwise over there, but feel free to introduce yourself. I don't know if everybody.
Yep, Brandon Goodman with Oak Ridge Dairy, and I invited 40.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
Gordon Burson from B&B Produce, who also use their property on the other side of the runway.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been farming that piece for 25 or so years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit. We've
Yeah.
Baylor and now Oak Ridge.
Yeah.
Brandon asked me to come because I know that property as well as anybody.
Yeah.
Last name, I'm sorry.
Gordon Burson, B-U-R-S-O-N.
And so this, I don't know if I really said. So this is the big piece that surrounds the runway. So Gordy Farms, to the is that the west?
East,
East.
actually, I
Oh
think.
no,
I think, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah, because the road's to the north, to the east of the runway, and Oak Ridge, Brandon is to the runway, operating. Oak Ridge owns the whole piece, but, and then the Jarmacks own the airstrip in between, so
Okay.
kind of an interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so water was kind of not only running off with some sediment, but it was like ponding up kind of in that corner between the airstrip and the section of farm field. So we were trying to figure out, like, okay, was it just that this rain event was so intense, or is there, you know, some on the property, like some changes in how they operate over the years, with the improvements like cover crops and no-till. They were able to remove some measures that had been there prior to no, but also then the airstrip was resurfaced, and you know there's all these factors. Also, while working on that piece with the airstrip out in front by the road, they uncovered a catch basin that had been buried apparently, and I guess the town went in and up and added like a riprap within the swale leading up to
Yeah,
it.
they fixed it. It really is not low enough.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
part of the big problem.
Okay, and this is what I really want is your observation.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys talk. I'll try to be quick.
No, that most of that field is below road grade, and there's a wetland pond up there with a drainage ditch that goes all the way along Watchdog Road. So I know some of the pictures that he showed me.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you have some
Yeah.
to distribute, but
A lot of that water, two things. It does come down the road itself, plus some of it came off. It looks like it's coming off the long side of the street. But all along that field, along Watchdog Road, is a drainage ditch. Been in there for years.
And it usually works pretty
It
well.
usually works pretty
Yeah.
well. And then, yes, the town did that when for the runway and stuff was being regraded, as I guess that became. And so they put riprap in there, or large stone, and then they fixed the manhole. But the manhole's at almost the same level as the road, so it's
Oh.
yeah.
a lot. If you look at the picture, I think you can see it there.
Well, I took that picture.
Yeah, picture. Oh, you might not. You
Oh, yeah,
got
I
some.
don't
Brandon
have
had some. He's just showing me. I was over there this morning looking. And what is happening is it's almost level with the road. So
Oh, cool.
the riprap is slowing it down. But once that gets full, it's not going. It goes in that drain and goes underneath
Yeah.
Watchdog Road, and then goes down to the
They always have problems down there on West Hollow.
So,
if you do get an event that it's not catching it all.
Yeah.
We've even seen some erosion down on the other piece of our entrance, on the other side of the old La Fountain piece,
Okay.
where the old hangar used to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
since the runway.
since the yeah,
Yeah.
It's going its natural way.
Okay.
you know, you have a large impervious piece of place that catch a lot of water.
It just goes to the brook.
Going up and
So that's just that's a 2019 aerial
Wow.
the field, and it's a little offset, but the airstrip highlighted in yellow since it's a different parcel. But and then there's the larger wetland to the east of the field. But there's a farm road that kind of along that boundary with the wetland.
Along the
This catch basin that you're talking about being level, so it only receives water through the top, not like the side,
Right.
right?
Yeah, it's they got the riprap, and then they got it collects into the riprap first, and then into the storm drain. But
Okay.
the storm drain is it's not set at the base of the riprap, so if you really look at it, it's like it's only going to collect a little bit, and then it's going right out back into the
Okay.
road. But there is a lot of water. I was telling Brandon, there's a lot of that water that does come down the Watchdog roadside where the telephone poles are, and does go out into the field because where it goes into the field, there's not a hump there, so it does not continue down. It actually, some of the roadway water back into that corner,
Okay.
which is something I was saying to Brandon we can fix on our end, but
So, crazy amount of water.
Well, we've had a lot of
We have
excessive
had a lot,
rainfalls,
right?
yeah.
And, you know, Joanne and I talked about this because, like, you know, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about farming practices, but, you know, when you see the land being worked and then really the issue is the sediment that's washing away, not so much the water itself. Control how much it rains, unfortunately, but I think we can control how much of the soils are being washed off because it's going right down the road and to the brook, you know. So I think that's what, I mean, I'd be particularly interested in just as like anything that can be done to minimize that. Keeping water on the property is going to keep the sediment, but maybe there's ways to slow down its movement so that the sediment can settle out, filter out. You know, we have maybe hay bales at some point. Even this, I don't know if there's a good picture of it. This,
The question becomes, the biggest question, yeah, that one.
this farm road entrance here, like maybe
That's past the old
you know,
barn,
like
yeah. That's one we,
wrap entrance like Jarmark did on his side to help, you know, any water that is coming off of that to help kind of trap the before it like run. I know that it's kind of like pitched towards the road, right?
yes. What's happening now is a lot of water coming
Sorry.
runway. The problem was for years on each side of the runway there was swales.
Okay.
When when Mosier had it years ago, there was always on the other side of the runway like swale to keep the water from coming off the field onto the runway and from the runway to our field, and those are gone now.
Okay.
They've been.
So is that, I mean, be an issue for the runway when it's used, like particularly this time of the year, if there's water
No,
shedding off the field onto
it's. I was telling Brandon about it. We're going to have to build a ditch because I'm losing a lot of soil erosion on the east side of the runway now
So
because.
the runway's
the
causing problems.
Well, I don't want to say that. But.
I wasn't.
No, I'm good friends with him. I mean, it's something that can't be
That would be an
fixed
easy fix,
on our
yeah.
side, but Brandon, you know, because they're the legitimate landowners,
they're
I'm just
causing-
using it, rent land. But for years, it was a 2,500-foot swale, that old runway, and now that's been regraded and gone.
Right, but if they're affecting abutting land, they're
Well,
cause.
it's affecting their land.
So the swale would have to be the runway airstrip parcel, not on your land, right?
Well, it was a part of the runway property, but now we would be willing to dig it. I'm going to have to make just a small trench to run it to the back, away from the road where it used to go into the main drainage ditches that are on that farm.
Yeah.
That's where it needs to go. Some of it will go that way, and some of it would come just the way it crests.
And would that be on
I have this
one
too.
other photo? No, I was looking for a photo that
The one on
showed.
the map, and kind of a.
Oh, this one. So this is. So there's the runway
That's
there.
yeah. We're on the
This
other
is
side
kind
of that.
up- yeah, you're talking about the.
Both sides, right?
So this is actually the inundated storm drain.
Right.
So all this water, though, that's kind of coming down the hill, you can see it kind of bleeding on my property. Like, would you need something similar on this side?
There should be.
Well, so on that, if that was draining properly, it wouldn't be ponded like that.
Right, there wouldn't be.
All that water that comes
Oh,
down,
if this.
yeah,
this-
that should be not be
Right.
there. So that's
But
an
this
issue
is-
with the drainage being too high.
But this was not even functional before.
But there was a ditch in there into that culvert. It wasn't a culvert. There's a culvert that goes underground. Then they put the storm drain cover over it. I don't know. It used to drain right into the culvert and go out
So
to
you're
the other
saying-
side
you're
of.
saying previous to the improvements to the drainage swale that
It drained better.
it still managed that amount of water. It just
Yeah, I mean it's
It always used to run over if you have excessive rain.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
so that's really I think
Dirt, too.
what we're up against.
yeah.
I mean,
No,
the whole state of Connecticut, not just
Oh, yeah.
Summers or a little area like, and not just Connecticut, it's anywhere. How do we handle these rainfall events where we're seeing 3, 4, 5 inches of rain in under a 24-hour period? It's just a amount of water.
yeah.
And on one of the sheets I put some figures
We're talking
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount
Saw
of or just the amount of water in 1 inch of rain. It's like just coming off of that runway, almost 400,000 gallons of water in that 3 or 4 inch rain. It's like that's a massive amount of water that's got to go somewhere that it can't go anymore because things are not the way they used to be. We're not. I mean, we're not talking about the runway being the problem.
Yeah.
That's, this is more like what we're doing on our end, I guess. And so kind of an answer to the questions or the pictures that were presented. One picture that showed it running down the road.
This one here.
It comes down that road pretty hard
that
too
is
because it
not
starts
from
all.
the field.
No,
The water can't hit the road from
that's
our field.
Watchog Road itself.
Because our whole field is lower than the road. It actually comes down around that curve where you see it running there. We have a whole ditch.
There's a ditch
That's-
from the top to the
Yeah,
bottom.
from all the way down that. So that water is actually from across the road from yards on the other side. So if that's dirty water, that's not from our field.
I have to disagree with that. Because I've seen this myself, and this, so you could see.
I know where you're talking about down.
Yeah. This
further
is
down.
the riprap thing here, and this is the pavement of Watchog Road.
Right.
You
Yes.
could see the waters running onto the road here.
Right.
Then
So I
you can
was,
see, this is where Chances used to be. You can see it running down the road here. You've got runoff coming off of this.
Yep.
Again, back on. This is all turbid water flow.
right. So
All on the south
Right.
side of Watchog Road.
yeah.
But what's happening now is the water is coming over that stone, over the grass, and behind the old Fountain House where the old hangar was.
Yeah.
And now this was the first year I haven't seen it ever wash out where we enter the. Got to go and fix it with a loader because, like you're saying, the dirt,
Yeah.
it's coming down.
But again, that's all on the south
Yeah,
side
it's
of Watchog
lower
Road. It's
down
not
the
the
road.
other side of the street.
Right. So
Water is coming down on the same side as that house and going. Some of that out into that field, over the stone ditch, over the grass in the runway. Now it's going out to where the that's there. It's going right behind that house and coming out
Where the hangar.
with the hangar.
So if you look at the other side, the other
They never
picture,
did before.
turn it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only picture, or actually not even that one. It might be on one of the other sheets. That one. That's the only picture I had been given, so I didn't know that those were there. But that water, that's the one I was referring to. Like that water coming down that part of the road is not from our field.
There's definitely water coming off the field from the hill. I mean, it's going to run downhill.
Right, but not on that picture.
no.
That's going up the hill from the runway. So all
No,
that
this is
water.
down the hill from the road. That's the.
Oh, that's the wrong
right there.
picture. Yeah, sorry, that's the wrong picture. There's one more that was
Oh,
kind of like
that's
that.
down the hill. Right, that's down the
There
hill.
you go, that one.
Yeah.
I think that one is the one that was.
Is that down? That's down the hill.
That's down the hill as well.
Oh, well,
One of them, it was. I was saying it had started at the top of the hill up by ours. So the main field, nothing is coming off our field until it gets down to the runway. That's
I
where
agree
the
with
main
that.
issue.
Right,
I agree
right.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's, I think just where we start with this because you have, I think the top of the main field there, like a lot of that sheds to, like I said, be to the west.
that shed goes
East.
toward Fort
That's-
Bridge
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not an issue.
until you get up over the hill.
Then you got that slope that goes down to, which used to have berms that probably slowed the water down a little bit, but now you have. It seems like quite a bit. Again, it's probably a result of these freak
See, the
rain
berm
events.
on that side doesn't. It's bad because it's tapered, so it won't go over the runway. But what's happening on my side is it's going water from the runway and over. It's now
Yeah.
going down because I'm on the side.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, you talked about, like I said to Brandon, I said, I'm going to have to put something in there because I sent him some pictures. I was over taking soil samples, and it's just in the last 2 rainstorms.
So
it's-
that soil's got to be going down into like where it drops off into the wetland down there.
Well, it's going down into the backside of my field, but it's not really going down into the woods and all
Yeah.
down in the roadway and everything else. But we
Yeah.
we don't want to lose any more topsoil.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're having issues with disease from excessive water and stuff. But which is it's not all it really needs is just to remake. Like I said, just take a thing and feed it out just to catch a little bit of it and send it down. There's a couple little dips in there and it's puddling and then it builds up and it goes down through. So it's not something that would take a lot of. There was one there for years. It was always a little hump in there. You could just about drive a pickup over it, but it was enough hump to keep it from
Yeah.
Washing down.
wash out. But that,
So I just like, seeing this. Where's the picture of the brook? Oh, this.
We need a number 'em or something.
what's
Yeah.
It's like,
that?
where's that picture?
I know, you threw me off with the double-sided.
I know, trying to conserve paper.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to tell if you're uphill or downhill.
This one shows, the sedimentation mixing into the stream here from all the runoff coming down the road.
Coming off that driveway.
That's really, obviously,
What we're
what
concerned.
our
Concern
commission
is,
is
yeah.
tasked with, trying to prevent things. And not that I'm saying it's related, but we have initiative across the whole Scannick River that
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah, I know,
participate
yeah.
with, just managing fecal and E. coli bacteria and stuff. And you think of you guys just did all the manure spreading, and now we have all these freak rain events, and now we have evidence of erosion coming off of those fields, literally going right into the river. That's something I think we all collectively need to manage. We can't manage the amount of rain that's coming, but if there's ways to just keep it trapped and on
Yeah.
the fields.
Well,
and
that's
not-
something, also, Brandon and I talked a little bit about the manure. Maybe we should take a step back and you could kind of talk about the practices and what your operation over there is like. Because, anyway,
Yeah,
sure.
sure.
Go ahead.
So, our farm is regulated by a CAFO permit, and it's something that we've had for a few years. Connecticut just implemented it statewide, but CAFO.
Oh.
So it contains.
Fecal.
No, CAFO. Sorry.
Kind of.
So
All the
CAFO.
acronyms.
Yeah, it's an acronym,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Confined feeding operation.
Okay.
Yes, define that.
So in that, there's a nutrient management plan that we have to follow. It includes things like when we can't spread manure, the application type. So if we're going to spread it on top, there's different parameters for that versus if we inject it. There's things to do with timing of rain events. There's things to do with how much frost can be in the ground, or if there's snow on the ground and we can and can't spread. There's a lot of regulation around that, all aimed at making sure that none of our manure ever enters into a water system. There are setbacks on fields that we have to follow. There's setbacks from wells that there's a residence. They assume that there's going to be a well on that property, so they automatically draw a 150-foot radius around it so that we can't get in that with our manure, whether it's injected or broadcast. So there's a lot of regulation that we are following to ensure that this doesn't happen. The rainfall event that happened was on December 18th, I believe, and that field that is in question was spread, or actually it was injected manure right before Thanksgiving was the last day we were in there. So there's about a 3-week period where that manure had time to get soaked into the become part of the soil, if you will, and any runoff that would have come off would not have any fresh manure. It would have been typical runoff, whether it was in July or November, right after we injected the manure, because that manure went into the ground. Now, if we had broadcast it and it was top, and all of a sudden this 4-inch rain comes along a day later, yeah, we're going to have runoff, and that's going to be a problem. That's where we have our CNMP, or our nutrient management plan, that says you can't do that. So we're very, we're on top of this all the time, trying to prevent something like that. So I know the concern initially was that there's manure that had been running down the road, and people knew we were out there spreading or injecting manure. Really not the concern that I think should be addressed. More of the concern is kind of like we're talking collectively, is what's happening with all this water now. Because typically in a given year we would go out and cover crop that field, which we did, but with the extreme weather we're having, that harvested until a little bit later. And when the went on, there was not enough heat left in the season, if you will, or growing degree units is what we call it in agriculture, to get that seed up out of the ground and established. And so just how do you manage that? I mean, without putting in a really...
We've had the same
You know,
problem with cover
soybean.
crops. They're just way behind.
Yeah,
Something that should be this tall is just...
barely poking out
Do you
Yeah.
do the cover crop before or after the manure application?
before.
Or-
Yep. So trying to get it established. Yeah. So there's just a lot that went to bat against us this year on that piece. And that event just happened to highlight everything that could go wrong.
Yeah, it was so intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there
How do
definitely
you
is.
inject it? Is that just tilling it in, or?
So it's a toolbar that goes behind one of our tractors,
Yeah.
and it has like these shanks in the ground with like 4-inch tubes that come down behind it,
Okay.
and it makes space in the ground, and the manure runs down that tube,
It's pumped in.
and then it pumps it through those into
Does it?
the trench,
It's like
and then it covers
really
it back
big.
up, and so it makes kind of there, and it covers it up, and it keeps all that manure in the ground. So that's the
That kind of goes hand in hand with like when you are doing no-till crops, you want to preserve the soil structure as much as you can. Yeah.
minimal disturbance.
And actually, it'll just move the cover crop, but the cover crop will come right back up through it.
Mm.
We called that manure tea.
We do it.
Vermont.
Yeah. But, it's a lot of new systems.
Yeah.
Using
Yep.
Now, when did they start regulating that? Was that in the past 10 years as far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to apply for a CAFO permit to put in our digester, and obviously that was before Connecticut required one. So there's a lot of regulation part of it and how many animals you have to have, but I think it's if you have 700 cows. There's different ones for like chickens or pigs or whatever,
You
but
don't
700
want
cows, I think if you have more than that is where you have to have a CAFO permit. And then there's different levels below that. So we had to apply for one just to have the digester. So we were a few years ahead of Connecticut in that regard. So we've kind of been doing this a while. We're used to the system now.
Connecticut's been a little slow with the
Yeah.
rollout of.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been in the last 3, 5, probably 4 years we've had it. So
Joanna, do you know if the town, like DPW, has any input on the,
On that catch basin.
yeah, or just, from their side of, I mean, just
Why?
in the
Yeah.
wintertime thing, even like just, I imagine they would not want water run out like that too. I don't
Right.
know if-
Yeah, I had talked quickly to Todd about it at one point, but hadn't realized like the elevation issue or anything. Make a note to myself.
And we don't know how that whole system is plumbed, right? Because it goes
It goes diagonally
It
across
goes-
Watchdog underground.
another catch basin.
Down,
Yeah.
There's another catch basin,
But
correct, on the
then,
other
do we
side.
know what happens after that or not?
I think it goes down. I don't know where it comes out down below. I think it has to
Probably
run
to the
down.
brook.
I went down and looked, and I couldn't find an outlet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some of
right.
those old pipes, it's like hard to find.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
It seems to me with this catch basin that the salt from snow would end up in there.
Right.
Mm.
Oh, all the catch basins, yeah. Because
Yeah.
whatever they sell or Sand Road is going in there.
Yeah.
It's right off the side of the road.
I know it's tough. Like they backed off from sand because the sand clogs things up, but then the salt you can like never get out of the water.
Potassium chloride.
Yeah. It's all different thoughts on
Is
different
that something
like
the town
brine you
could
can
take
use.
care of?
Huh?
Is
Well,
that
they
something
should.
the town could take care
They
of?
should take care of it
They should.
if it's above
Yeah, it's a
level.
town-
I thought
it's a town
road was
road.
always
Well,
I
a
know.
fire.
if it's right.
I know they
it's-
like Todd made it sound like he wasn't even really sure if it was the towns or
I
not.
mean, the
has
fact that
to
it goes
be.
on, like clearly that section's theirs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think it's got to be the town. It's a little unusual how it's set in like that.
Kenny Anderson would be able to tell you if
Yeah.
it belongs to the town.
I saw Kenny. I could ask him where he would know where it comes
Yeah,
out.
Kenny
Yeah,
would
I know
know.
Kenny well. Yeah.
Kenny, DPW for a long time, so
I know it runs. I think it comes down there by the brook somewhere, where they put the new culverts in.
That's a pretty good run.
That's a pretty good run because they did that there because the wire around at that last pole for the runway.
Okay,
Come down and go underground there, and then they come back up.
that makes sense.
right
Okay.
there, Kenny Anderson would know.
Huh.
But
Likewise, I still feel if something's happening because of the runway, that we should be asked.
It's tough because when this came up, really the runway was just. My understanding was it was being resurfaced, but it sounds like maybe there was a little more work done than that. It didn't trigger any real town permitting because other than the question of more the function of the airstrip
Right,
itself.
but if we have any property owner who's discharging water onto the neighbor, they're responsible for correcting it.
It's a tricky one. There's like lot-to-lot drainage is kind of like a civil thing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
a suggestion, a
Yeah.
recommendation.
Well, the amount of, so they got a driveway permit to do the, right? And I think that was the only permit needed at the time, but does the amount of pavement like trigger like stormwater management plan or anything like that? I mean, it's
Well-
obviously quite a bit of,
It's now, it was a pervious soil, condition because it was
Yeah.
an old broken up runway. Now it's not.
no,
So
it's not.
now you have,
It's not like just, a residential driveway, like it's a
No,
pretty
I know.
good amount of,
I think because it like had been paved and it was sort of being restored, it didn't really.
circumvented all that.
But
Kind of like the times there, because it was there.
yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure.
that's going to add to it too, because the hangar's going to be on a slab. That's going to have roof runoff. Like the line of you guys' property, like there's more water that's going to have to be dealt with. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to deal with it. It's just what's the mechanism? Like, is that a town permitting thing? Is it a zone
Yeah.
planning development? I don't know.
I'm hoping it'll be a thing where maybe this might be naive, but like they seem to kind of work well together as neighbors. Where maybe I don't know if you've talked about it.
well, that was something
Yeah.
I was talking to Brandon and talked probably to Owen about.
Yeah, 'cause maybe
because
together-
now the water has where the water used to be over towards the field more and going out into the woods. It's now going down. Actually, that's his driveway. That on the other side of the barn is a piece of his property.
It is, yeah.
The entrance for Oak Ridges is just
It's
there's a
actually
right
in the
there's an old
woods.
roadway in the woods there.
Yeah.
That's just
Well, it drops off,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
kind of down in that low area, so we've never built it. We've always kind of just used it as a right of way to get back in there. So we technically don't even own that driveway either.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
to when LaFountain owned when Russell owned the house in the old hangar. When he bought that from the Mosers, they changed some of that property line so to make the lot conforming they could section that hangar off for him when
Okay.
he bought that.
I'm sorry, I missed that part of the conversation about the second driveway there.
the one where all the
On the
water's
other-
coming back,
Yeah.
That's actually a Jarmac
That's not-
driveway.
Oh.
that's not ours, yeah.
That's
Oh,
not. That's
I did not
legally
realize
not.
that.
Was a
We
house.
use it. We go in and out. It's never been a problem. Actually, there's a silk fence there now.
That was.
Yeah, because they had
around when
a
they fixed that.
stockpile on
When
the,
they took all
yeah.
the topsoil.
Yeah. Yeah, they from across the street or.
What does the town own? Is it like 20 feet in of the
I don't
road?
even think it's that, right?
I don't think
I thought
it's
it was
25 from the center. isn't
From
it?
the center, yeah, it's
Yeah.
25 from the center.
Field is, you guys have been farming that way for
Yeah,
how many
no,
years? And
it's
we've been on the
really
bottom
good.
side. I mean, we don't have manure on the bottom side. I'm all vegetables. But
Which
yeah,
must have been tough this year.
yeah, it is. It's been rough.
Yeah, so I guess in my
You
like
know there's
ideal-
one in town.
idealized mind,
We
like
do.
hopefully they'd be able to
5 feet from the center of
work
the
it
road.
out cooperative,
Yeah.
as kind of like
Well,
free
At least they could
neighboring
do is work together on
farms,
it
but
with the
Really?
farmers.
that
down.
maybe with
You know, they
I
know
don't know,
that.
if, like
but
Owen's seen
the
kind
town's
of what's
good.
been going on on your
Right,
side
right.
there,
I think
like
Patrick did all this
hopefully
already.
you guys can work together and kind of pitch in to do
Just
something,
might need
but
a little more work.
because I don't know that we've got any real teeth like with
Right.
with the for the runway, but if there were swales that are no longer there, I mean,
Out front, like their property where the old hangar was, the house. We can do there, but we can definitely manage along that runway, and it needs to get done.
Yeah.
So that it can control the water. There's drainage ditches on the far end of that runway that I talked about with culverts, and we them out and clean them out. The water needs to go the other way.
Yeah.
okay.
I think that would go a long ways, yeah. And then
so-
maybe if we could talk to Owen about, I don't know what we can do about the runway, that driveway entrance there too, that he owns, and
To have sort of a construction entrance, you mean, or
yeah, because you probably see it, right? Like there's a decent amount of water coming down that
Yeah.
that farm road.
Yeah.
Right on, it's washing that road out, is it not?
Well, it's coming through, it's coming right from where the old hangar used to be.
Yeah.
Where
It's
it never
running
used to be,
down
it was up into the field
dirt
further.
road, kind of washing out that dirt, and then it's going right into the pavement, which takes it down, to Watchog Brook. So, like street, like if you just put like a, riprap entranceway, maybe that'll trap a lot. I mean,
Right.
the water's still going to shut off, but it'll trap the sediment.
Right.
Just,
You can see where it's coming right over the grass there when it comes down. Just when that culvert or the riprap and that culvert fill up, it kind of just goes out over the lawn there a little bit. But it's not eroding it or anything. It's so flat there.
yeah,
And maybe even
especially
like
now that
in the
it just
swales to
signed
have
a few homes
something
that-
like check dams, like some
farmer, too.
piles of riprap, like periodically along the swale might help slow it down too.
Well, I even noticed today when I was over there, you guys already have, a water bar in that roadway coming down the hill that
Okay.
hangs it into the ditch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which is,
Yeah,
that's
that's good.
something we've done in logging business. You
Yeah.
put a couple water bars in, so you get it back into the ditch,
Slow it
doesn't
down.
just
slow it
run
down
all
where all
the
the vegetation is. And,
Yeah,
I
that's a
noticed
good
you had one
practice.
in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it seems orange train events are a thing to stick
Oh,
around.
right.
you know?
They're sticking
I
around.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
Snow.
No,
That would have been a lot of
Well,
snow.
you get that
That would
this
have been.
weekend, maybe.
It's coming.
That would have been a lot of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we would have had like
Yeah, it would be buried.
That wouldn't have helped the cover crop.
No.
Are you guys conversations with Jarmox about?
Oh yeah,
like,
I
this
know Steve
particular-
real well. Talked to him about the issue. I was talking to Brandon about it because him being the property owner, I said we need to get together with Owen and just discuss it. And,
Yeah.
And I said as long as we can find, because now I don't know where the property pins are. I know where the old fence used to be when previous owners had it, but now since it's all regraded, everything is just. He put about, I'm going to say 20-foot grass buffer on each side. It looks nice. It's graded nice, but now
Yeah.
it's pavement to this to where it used to be this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it used to be flat with a berm, so that was always a berm before it went into our fields. And
Okay.
so that
Oh,
Likewise,
so not just a swale, but also a berm on the.
yeah, there was a
There's a little bit of a build
there was a little bit of a build up there. Just a
Okay.
lot of times you just got to slow that momentum down,
Yeah.
get that water to slow down and let it dissipate because the soil that I'm on, so it doesn't take much for it to
Okay.
dissipate.
Yeah.
That's why we put the vegetables on, and then I give Brandon some other acres. We've been swapping for years.
Okay.
Can you guys work with Owen on some solutions here, and then maybe we could talk to Owen and see if he could come to the next meeting to just kind of see.
Wrap it. Yeah.
likewise, that's his road and it's eroding, and we're within our rights to ask him to put some controls
Yeah.
in that area for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize that was that.
His road.
What's his road? Yeah.
It'd be good for the winter too, it would be end up being ice there, like it has been.
Yeah.
Just beyond that edge of that road is Oak Ridge property. And then the other fellow just bought that other piece below you.
Yeah, down on the bottom there.
Is that-
Oh, Moyle.
Matt.
Mhm.
So you guys own in between. So you have Jarmock's piece and Moylan's piece. Do you guys
Well,
own
we
something
own-
in between.
They own the right of way in between. The side that I'm on is actually now, it's not really landlocked because we can go around the ditch and back in on the other end of the runway, but is what divided a big
Yeah.
chunk of that property off. But originally, it was all owned by the one owner.
Yeah.
And then when they separated it out,
Mosers ended up with the runway and we had the fields.
right, and they kicked themselves because they should have bought it. But so be it. But so there is an entranceway there, but the old roadway that was there for years we've been using, but legally it's a Jarmac piece of property.
Yeah.
It
Just
was-
that
it was-
frontage. the-
Russell owned it. We owned Russell for years. We've been going in and out of it, like I said, for 30 years, so since the 70s.
Is that the property?
Yeah, it's not 100% accurate, but I can see.
Yeah, if
like,
you
how
look
the
at it, you
beginning
can
of that
see-
road is on but this is so zoomed out because I was
Oh,
trying to get
yeah.
the whole field in.
Yeah, no,
But-
but for sure you can see that's the road right there.
Yeah,
Coming in on their property.
like that. Little in on
Yeah.
their
If
property.
you look in the woods just beyond that, you can see, because I was having to clear it. there's, oh yeah, you can't see, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's subtle,
hard.
but you can see the road come up here.
Correct.
And like
But
just.
see, for years, from here all the way to go to these drainage ditches here,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one on this side,
Yeah.
but they're gone now, and we need to put one in. The elevation, it goes, some of it goes this way, but most of it all back.
Yeah.
But,
And this has shifted a little because I could see the runways. Maybe not quite where this yellow line is, but
Yeah, no,
the
it's-
GIS isn't 100%.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where the ditches need to be, is from here. And then, it used to all run off over here, but now it's going down in here.
Yeah.
So, but that can be changed.
Will the soil hold once you get ditches in?
Well, it would keep the bulk of it, the sheet of it coming off, and some of it is in the farm roadway itself. It comes down, but it needs to be leveled so that what happens is it puddles now, and then it gets between the two humps, and then it goes just downhill through the field. And if we have plastic in there, then it's like a river running through there.
Yeah.
I sent them some pictures. It was amazing, just in one rainstorm, how much it washed out a little bit. But
And then maybe, I don't know, you still want like.
Years ago, they had a hurricane and they couldn't get into some.
It's
Every one of the brooks washed out. And that was bad.
Yeah.
In the 50s. It was in the 50s.
I mean, we've had, in the past, like when Gulf Road all washed out and all those
Yeah.
big storms, that was never a problem.
I know, yeah.
You know.
Quick.
And then hide all the evidence.
Before
Vermont, that would
Saturday
yellow and
night.
now.
Yeah, so that's what you're kind of like. Ideally, you'd have water run back to these ditches. That
Yeah,
get,
there's a drainage ditch here that runs all the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
cuts off this field. There's
Yeah. Okay.
that's maintained or mowed,
Yeah.
cleared out years ago. That's a natural. That was one that was put in years ago. There's another one that comes.
Oh.
There's one that comes from here. There's another one here. There's a ditch in here also.
Okay.
So the only way that like Brandon can get into this field, that they were literally would have to come into this field and over this ditch. Because that's what we
Right.
talked
Or-
about, putting culverts.
Yeah, or we could clear trees, come in. down
Right, on
off
this
of-
side over here.
Yeah.
There's actually, you can see it in the woods where the old roadway used to be. It's just overgrown because nobody's ever used it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of steep. And,
It's
So hopefully you can keep just using that.
yeah, I mean, that's the intent.
Right, well, because, we, especially for us, because we go
Yeah,
all
you
the
guys
time.
use it.
He doesn't go in, we go in there all the time. He comes in on this side 'cause for that piece.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that sounds like maybe you guys would be willing to share the load of,
But we can do the work, that's the thing, as long as, and now we'd have to make it right, basically on your side of the property line, instead of where they used to have it as part of the runway. We'll make it as part of our field, so you lose a little ground there, but it's not, you don't need anything, not even, just as
is there
wide
no
as.
road beyond the runway within Jarmock's property? Is it kind of like just paved all the way, or
No, they've got a grass strip.
Yeah, they've got
probably
it seeded
20
off nice,
feet.
it's all the grass in, it's
Okay.
been mowed, but it's probably 20, 25 feet
Yeah.
wide.
okay?
I
You're
think
saying
the-
that the swale used to be
Used to be
on
within,
a strip, but now it's all leveled out.
it used
I
to
think
be,
the runway is actually 100 feet wide, the property of it.
Okay.
yeah.
So the runway itself is only like
About
maybe
40
Okay.
feet. I think I
50 feet.
measured, I think it's going to
So they might be able to like redo
Right.
the swale
So
there
you've
too,
got-
but so you're not losing your.
Yeah, so you got about 55 feet on both sides, so he's probably like
Yeah.
20, 25 feet.
Yeah.
It's all seeded, it's nice, it's grass, but
Yeah, it looks good.
that whole thing is pitched to our side.
Yeah. Okay.
So, because we're getting erosion in here now, we're getting all down through here, in here, there's a
Yeah.
couple spots.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's just causing some disease issues for some of my crops.
Yeah. Well, and this is definitely the worst. The worst summer.
Well,
for vegetables,
21 and
like-
23 have been real
Yeah.
downer.
Yeah, this year was brutal. Even
Okay.
if they run the irrigation pumps there, right?
You know, for years I always liked a wet year, but now I've changed my mind. I've got a lot of pumps and filters, so I'd rather run water.
Yeah.
I can put it on, but I can't take it, you know.
True, right?
And it's just so. It's not like you get an inch; you just get 4 inches, and then a week later, another 4.
Nonstop.
Well,
So-
and also
I think
Todd
so.
this picture that Brandon had and talked about how like the water's not really making it in there.
Yeah.
Better off before.
Yeah, it really was.
Just get rid of the rate.
Yeah.
I know, because before, so there was
Just a cold.
and just an opening there that it was just going in and.
Yeah, it was just a little riprap in there, a little bit of stone, and went
Okay.
into the manhole.
Oh, okay, because they were making it sound like it was like buried or something. So I don't know, but
It got rid of the water wherever
Yeah.
it was. It worked.
okay, all right. No, this is all very interesting and
That you're probably right because the hole of the pipe was just open.
Now it's probably a
Now they got
smaller-
it. Took an opening like this and then put it like this.
Right, and it's got to go up and over. to
It
get
got to
in.
go up, get in it.
yeah.
And I think you're right because I know that manhole. The other one on the other side of the road was always
It's
there
old,
because
yeah.
that's right on the edge of that piece of farmland right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other one is all you can see the new concrete. So
Yeah.
I think they took it from basically a horizontal pipe and made it a vertical pipe, and it is high.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's worth asking about it. What can be done about that? Okay.
I don't know if that helps.
So I really appreciate both your observations and I don't know, any other questions or
No. So Owen's coming next
Yeah,
month
I'd
to
like to
tell
hear
us
from
what you
Owen.
guys are going to do. You got to tell him that when you go back. Say,
How much
"Did you
is
show
it? So
tonight?"
it's like tag your it.
Well, I wanted to get a hold of Owen because I want to find
Tell him it's in
the
the
property
minutes.
pins of all
Yeah.
boundaries have all changed now because there was the fence was right on the line before.
Yeah.
And when Mosier's owned it.
Yeah. And to be fair, I hadn't like asked Owen to come or anything, but kind of heard this conversation was happening, so he said he might come. So, but he wants to come here or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he blew us off.
Oh no.
Said enough town meetings lately.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, but I don't know. I guess keep us in the loop anyway.
Yeah, if we have questions, we'll get a hold of you too.
Yeah, and
something that.
Yeah, and I think we're all kind of
All working for the same goal.
yeah,
No. It's just
because you guys don't like that condition either. So yeah.
No, for
Yeah.
sure.
no.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I hope you guys have a
thank
better
you.
season
Yeah.
this next
Yeah.
one around.
Get your farmer's almanac out.
A couple droughts.
No.
I know it was good for the,
The
corn.
roll-
The rain was good for the corn, but nothing else.
Yeah, we actually had some record-breaking yields this year on some of the,
Yeah.
and it's just because the timing of it and the corn was big enough to handle it. It was a disaster across
Yeah.
the board everywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's funny. Some years we've got some ground that we've never lost corn on here because it's just groundwater.
Oh, okay.
We have pieces on King Road and all
Yeah, just flooded, right?
the
They
double
just
A
never
farm
got
I
it out.
have. Yeah, it's 2 out of 3 years now we lost the whole crop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so but
Yeah.
You have insurance? No.
I do now. I did this year. I said after 21 we lost. We basically took a 50% loss across
Yeah,
the
that's a
board.
lot.
Yeah, so we took crop insurance. I just was on the phone with a girl today. We're trying to fight for the high street corn insurance. And
Yeah. The way the weather's been working.
yeah, vegetable insurance, the stuff we get on the vegetables is it's such a pain in the butt.
Oh.
With the NAP insurance and stuff, it just doesn't.
Okay.
I lost 50% of it, and I still don't qualify.
Really?
Yeah, it's just because of we're in Talon County, and then I have Squash and Hartford County over in Enfield, and then they take. Basically, if you do
Who
good
cares
over
about
there,
county
but you
lines
do
anyway?
bad here, then they mix it in, and then, they about 100 different ways to not pay you.
Okay.
No,
Okay. Oh, well, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, on that it is, but that's why I was on brand. We got it, and for us, water control is key to keeping the disease out.
Oh yeah.
We started out. We
Oh, yeah.
had some
tomatoes
problems.
are just yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had gone through the broccoli there this fall, and it's like, oh, geez, we got to do something here. So I said to Brandon, and I know if I talked to Owen, he'd be the kind of guy he'd go over there and probably do it for us. I mean, he's good to work with. No, he's good. It's just a matter of putting our heads together and.
Yeah, come up with something, and let us know, and work along the runway shouldn't really be an issue in terms of be regulated, but when all else fails, like, just keep me in the loop, and if something
Okay.
is getting closer to that wetland, typically worst case, you just come for a jurisdictional ruling and just determine if it's an agricultural use, just so people don't get all excited, like, there's tractors out in the wetland, and then, you know.
Right, no. People,
But yeah, just
you
let
know,
us know.
They
and-
all think you're doing something that, you know.
yeah.
I know.
So just, yeah, like, if I'm aware, and then I can sort of
Well,
filter,
that's good.
okay,
Well,
does this
that's
need
good
to
to know.
go?
We'll let Brandon, you know,
Yeah.
we'll email you and say, listen, we're going to start
Yeah.
excavating some ditches, just so you're aware of it.
Yeah,
And that's
if
what
it's-
they need. They need to be dug in a way that you can mow them, vegetate them, and that's what they used to be. It used to be grass ditches that you could get in with the bush hog and mow them, so you can in need.
Yeah.
They don't have to be so steep and aggressive that you can't maintain them.
Right.
Yeah, and it was nice because you could drive over them with a tractor, but with a little car or pickup, you could. That was just enough to maintain the water.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but
Sounds like a good idea.
yeah, then for years the runway was all broken up and
Wasn't much of a factor.
it
Yeah.
wasn't very effective,
Yeah.
you know, over the years, and then so, but now that's changed, and
Right.
so
Yeah. Ripple effects.
All right.
ripple effects exactly.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
All right, yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Oh yeah.
That one that I gave you, do you want that?
Oh, did you want it back, or can,
well, I didn't
could you
make
email?
it. I just more had notes on it for myself.
Oh yeah.
So if
do you
you
think could you email it to me, or
Yeah.
I just want to show that
Take a picture
public
of
works.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
is
guess
it
I
going
can
in a
take a
record or anything? I just want to make sure it doesn't say anything that I was. Like,
Oh, I'm
for
sorry.
myself.
I didn't mean to see them.
I printed it out. Like, oh,
No, it's okay. No, if
Could you read
if
it
you
out
just,
loud real quick?
yeah.
there it is.
No, if you would just want to
Don't
email me that
say.
picture.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Riveting, or what are you doing?
No, I can email
that has
that
its
to
grocery
you.
list on it. No.
Yeah, right.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, guys.
Maybe we should. Maybe,
Oh, yeah.
maybe we should have rearranged the agenda.
Motion.
Poor Jim's sleeping out
No
in the.
idea.
That's a little map.
Yeah.
If you don't know me, Jim Patson with Patson Construction.
Yeah, let us
Technically,
just
we have to add
it
you to the agenda. Hang on.
Motion to add application 80121 Bobolink Lane to the agenda for discussion.
I'll make the motion that we add application 801, 21 Bobolink Lane.
I'll second
All
that.
those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
It's
You're on.
okay.
I'm still Jim Patson.
Okay, what do we have? So Jim and I were talking about this one. So we dug deep in all the files we had in land use to try to find like a decent plot plan of this property. And it's like interesting because in the subdivision plan, it's, I'll send it around just for fun, but it shows the original brook. It shows where they're going to relocate the brook to, which now like, maybe not be so amenable to, but back then it was like. So the brook was like moved and so it'd be a little more convenient to development and piped across Bobolink. This is when Bobolink was being constructed. And now where you see these little wetlands images, now it's a pond there. And I can't find any file or anything from when that wetland was converted to a pond. But so this is like the original plan. So I was trying to give Jim something to work on to show, because there's an existing house. He's wanting to build an addition for the property owner. And so we were trying to find some reasonable thing to use. And it's like, and that plan doesn't even show the house location. So then the next step, if you can call it that, we've got a survey of the property with the house location, existing deck, and then so Jim was able to draw to scale the proposed addition and new deck. So those are highlighted in yellow on this plan. And again, on this one, you can see now this one has the new stream location, but still not the pond. And this is from 86. So sometime between 86 and now, it became a pond. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I couldn't find any record of that being
Maybe it's all
approved.
that lane we have.
Yeah.
That wasn't Elwood Clifford's house, is it?
I'm sure they're
I'm just trying to.
Newly
think
married
of-
couple, they have like a
Yeah.
1-year-old son, but I don't know how long
Was
that
that
she owned
on
the
it?
house. I don't
Yeah,
think
it
they've been there
I don't
seems-
think
long.
it just naturally.
It seems like it was put in because it showed like this just like a defined stream channel on all the prior plans, and now it's in a wetland around, and now it's just a pond. Like,
What's the
Any
name of the
beaver
road?
activity there?
Babylon.
Is it? There was a pond that I don't know if that's the same place. There was a gravel bank, and they flooded it and made a pond. Is it over near?
Is that,
Huh?
that's not Pond Circle.
no,
No, it's not a big pond. Not a big pond.
I think this was at the way the original brook cut right through where the pond is now.
yeah,
It's just yeah.
They just kind of straightened it out to make like a road crossing for a culvert. The
Yeah.
came curving through where the pond is now. I think that's where the brook went through. It was probably wet, and they just mucked it out a little more and made it a full-size pond.
yeah, because it's got a stream like inlet and outlet. But anyway, so what we have now, while the plan shows just a stream, I just printed that aerial so you could see that really there's a pond. And then the plan, I have a few copies of this one with the highlight, that shows in yellow the proposed addition and deck, and then you can see, you know, the square white is the house, and then there's a dashed line for a that is existing that'll be demolished. And then kitty corner to the proposed deck, you see this other little, not very square.
Oh, square.
This survey was drawn on when the prior property owner wanted to put a garage in, and that's where they drew it. Doesn't seem that building isn't exactly where it is. You can see it on here, this outbuilding. But they're proposing to demolish that building. Sort of mitigation in some ways. It's an older building that's not in great shape, but it's much closer to the brook than the addition and deck that they want to build. So it'd be a little bit of like we'll remove one structure and
Slide it over.
and Jim had
We use all the materials from that structure, right?
It has really solid paint on it. That's it. Oh, nice fresh coat of paint on
holding
some
all the rotting wood together.
old wood.
And here's a couple of pictures that Jim provided. So the addition would go mostly on, like, really the driveway.
Yeah, it's like it's all walkout. So
The cars parked like under the deck, kind of. There's a retaining wall now between the lawn and the driveway that
It's the visuals.
will remain. And I still have to get this one too, but
Is it Bobolink Road or Lane?
Lane.
so anyway, I'm talking. But Jim, what did you want to say?
you did a pretty good lead.
Okay, I always go on too long, and then
Well, the existing house has like a 1-car garage. It's not very convenient, like a 180 to come around and try to go back into. When you go in there, the stairs are to the far end of the house, but what we're trying to propose here would be like a 24 by 30 foot 2-car garage, but we would enter from the side, and at the back end, we're making it, trying to make it wider, but build a staircase at the back end of the garage. So then when you go up inside, you'd come right in the center of the house. Above this garage, we would expand the kitchen some and maybe great room. But right now, in the photos, like his wife kind of parks under the deck. There's a long staircase around the retaining wall, up on the deck, and then finally get in the house. The garage under the existing house isn't actually too using it all. It's not a huge basement, but so this configuration, they'd be able to pull straight in and enter with the stairs on the inside there. site work would be pretty limited because it's basically just a frost wall for garage. We wouldn't really be excavating the whole center out. So we have a 4-foot foundation just to put in around the 3 sides of the structure. On the back wall or farthest wall where the stairs are, there's a stone retaining wall coming off the end of the house there, and we may be able to just leave it and put our foundation next to it. So as far as amount of excavation would be pretty limited, and the driveway that's existing would stay. So really wouldn't be a huge impact. The deck would be 2 poles just to put the deck that's drawn. So at this point, coming off the deck, there's just a few steps down, and you'd be on, that's where the yard is higher on that one side of the house. They could enter into the lower level from under the deck, and the stairs would be right there to get up into the house going up on the inside. So I gave like the dimensions on both plans. The existing house was 52 feet, the closest to the brook. And if you looked straight along that side of the house, the brook into the back, the edge of the brook kind of lines up with the edge of the house. So the brook is the closest coming in, but it literally turns away. So then the new distance would be 30 feet to the brook, but right at that point, it's literally taking a turn and heading off into the back. The picture kind of shows, the picture I took shows the detached garage, which I took a measurement of only like 18 feet on this drawing. Probably would scale further than that on their makeshift drawing. So I don't think that's exactly where it's shown on this map. But the deck terrace is a little further than the main addition, so we stepped that back. And yeah, so basically finish the upper level to be part of the house. Even the material, if it's decent gravel underneath, we'd be pouring concrete slab in the garage. We wouldn't be removing all that material. And being like that whole side of the house is a full walkout, so there wouldn't be a lot of excavation per se to just get that foundation in and grade the slab.
See the pictures?
Definitely not a typical lot. The septic system's off to the other side, up on the higher ground. So there wasn't too many other good options for any kind of expansion, but
And then the well was on the other side, opposite the septic.
the lot 42, they're showing the main house 30 feet, lot 42. So the minimum's 25, and there's a septic tank right between that area and the leach field's off to the side.
Have they lost any lawn space right here? I feel like that's just so close to the
Right, it's like tight.
I would put trees or shrubs there or something just to hold that all together.
Yeah, I don't know if the pond was high this year with all the rain, or if they said anything. But
I know they had to reevaluate like the floodplain that got removed out of it, but I think the flow in that the brook is pretty channeled. It comes right up out of it, so I don't think it has any issue of like a big elevation change. Shortly after that, it heads down, and there's a huge area of wetland down off into the back.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like slow it down. It just like filters right out easily.
Anyone have any questions or concerns? we added that, like straw wattle or silk sock, to the plan, and we talked about, while there'll be minimal excavation, if anything does need to be piled in that, silk sock area. But yeah, that's all. Most of the area being worked on is currently driveway. Already. Yeah. Fairly straightforward.
I think the inside the actual garage could be, the material could be piled to put the foundation in around it because it's just that trench. So wouldn't need to be piled way out from the building or anything.
Yeah.
Anything anybody needs for the next meeting before we can approve that? No?
Yeah, feeling okay about it.
An explanation as to how the pond.
I know. Yeah. Story.
I could dig up a story. I might have to make it up.
Yeah, and we know,
I thought I would have a wetland
Related to that
file or
witch house.
something,
Yeah.
we know that your presentation would have been 10 minutes. I would have reversed the.
I know that other one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Did it help me? Like everyone wants to go home.
Yeah, we're now too tired to ask any questions. It's good.
When you come next month, no.
We all rested up.
Don't put me first. Although you passed the first one tonight, so maybe that's a good luck.
No, I think we're all set.
All right, so we can't approve it, but it sounds like you won't have too hard of a time.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. We didn't want to go too fancy with like architectural drawings and as far as the second floor, if he's going to lay out what he wants to do. If we say we spent money and got shut down, but I had high hopes that you guys would work with us on this project.
We when people work with us.
Yeah.
We try. We don't want to try to fight City Hall when we're at City Hall.
We all have the same goal. That's what I try to say.
Yeah, but not
Protect this town.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I
All
won't
right.
keep you.
No,
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
your
Sorry
time
for the
and,
wait on that.
your dedication here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a staff report?
Yeah, not too much.
His father was first selectman at one time, right?
Oh yeah.
Bill Paxson
It's a
was his
caterer.
dad.
Oh, my. That's
Actually, so part of my staff report, I guess. I
Good cook.
met with Jim out at 183 Mountain Road today. And that's the Eastman property that's on Mountain Road. That I think adjoins their other property on Halley. But they want to start working on the driveway. So that's where it's going to be a shared driveway with the that's already built on Mountain Road, and it comes off and it has a wetland cross. Rather than crossing Gillette's Brook from the road, this way it kind of crosses a little intermittent water course to get up to where the house would go. I want to start work on the driveway, and we had a condition that I inspect the erosion control. Went out and met Jim there today, but their plan is to access for as long as possible from above, from their other property, to much impact on the driveway that the current homeowner is using. So they'll approach from the other side until they get to like that crossing, pipe in and finishing that up. But I told them to keep me in the loop so I can like pop over there and take a look before they do the crossing. But the good part is that that intermittent water course has a really defined channel at the point where they're gonna put the pipe, so he can just like put the pipe down and feed that water, clean water, like right into it, and do work kind of around that so the water can keep flowing through the pipe during construction. So hopefully make it less it's so close to Gillette's Brook. It's like this little intermittent water course only runs, I don't know how many feet, not very far, and then it's Gillette's Brook, like right there. So we just want to be careful. Sensitive area, but otherwise, I had my first minimal impact permit in a few months. There's a shed at 68 Road, a 10 by 24 shed. That almost seemed silly to issue a minimal impact permit because it's funny explaining these things to people because they already have a pool and other things closer to the wetland, and the shed's going like between the pool and the driveway and the house, so it's kind of like locked in by all these other structures, but within 100 feet of the wetland, so you still need a permit. But it was small enough that I could issue a minimal impact permit, so it wasn't a big deal. Makes it a process for them. And then mostly just wrangling applicants since the last meeting, and with that, our other application, the first or the second one on the agenda today, the subdivision, we were just going back and forth about the erosion control plan, and that erosion control plan will also be addressed with planning. It'll be reviewed as part of the planning application, but there were a number of zoning issues with that plan that I had identified when I first saw the plan, like issues with how close the driveway was to the property line, and issues with how steep the driveway was. So there was a number of things already revised on the plans we saw, and otherwise, that's about all I'll burden you with this this month.
Did Matt Moylan hasn't been in to see you, has he?
No.
Said he was going to.
Oh, you talked to him?
I don't know. He didn't tell me what his plan. He said just to discuss something. And that the mailbox was to have a mailing address. It's like, well, where do you live? So I didn't get that. But anyway, I don't.
Yeah, I do want to set up a time.
Months ago that he was going to.
Oh, really? I do. I'm hoping to time to go out now with the snow. I don't know if that'll be delayed a little, but when I had contacted Oak Ridge and we were talking about the Watchdog Field, we were trying to figure out a time I could get them out there. But like Brandon was away. It was the week between Christmas and New Year's when I was talking to him, and he was away. And but I'd like to go over there and be advantageous as a viewing point for other things. But no, he hasn't. He came in when he first bought that property. He came in asking what he could do by the road, and I told him, put together an idea of what you want to do. You could come to the commission, but no, I haven't seen him. It's been quite a while.
Okay, motion to accept the report.
I make a motion to accept the staff report.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Correspondence of bills.
I do have a bill actually just came today for the December JI legal notice. Was $55.09.
I move.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. No correspondence.
No, I'm trying to think of anything that slipped my mind to grab, but I don't think so. And then now I feel like it ends up coming by email where I can just send it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I did, I forget if it was before the last meeting or in between, but had gotten like the more formal notice about the proposed solar installation that we already had a presentation on next to Geisel. So we were already aware of that anyway, but and I think they're putting together, or did they already hold a hearing? Did they already have the town meeting about that? No, maybe not.
No, it's on our list, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna come to zoning or?
Yeah, zoning, yeah.
Okay,
There isn't much, I mean, they can do it, you know, but
yeah.
it's just something like, you know, they just go through the whole process.
Yeah, I think, some neighbors are concerned about their view,
Do you
of the
have
panels
any
and that sort of thing.
regulations on that in zoning
For solar?
for solar?
And I didn't realize, I guess we were the first commission they approached and talked to, so others like higher ups in the town weren't aware. I found out kind of later, so I'll have to like keep that in my mind to sort of,
Communicate.
yeah.
The
I didn't, normally we're not the first talks to, so I didn't even think of it, but yeah,
It's a
to,
hot commission now.
right? So it's like, oh yeah, I knew about that. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't.
We're first for a reason.
Right, right.
The thing
Well, they could
with
look at
it-
our minutes.
The thing with it is, the problem is, you know, most of them, they put it flat,
Yeah.
and then they put those big bushes, you know,
Hmm.
they can't see them.
Oh, for privacy.
But this is gonna be on the side hill, and it's gonna be,
Oh.
see,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, no way to hide it.
No way
Yeah,
behind 'em,
no.
you know? The problem.
yeah.
But I mean,
Get
I
really tall
don't,
trees.
we don't have,
No way to
no
No.
say, no
No.
say on it.
No.
Yeah,
It's like the, you know, if they wanna put up one of those big towers.
Yeah.
say, we're putting
the cell
up
towers. Yeah. But siting council
We
stuff.
told you, and you can have meetings, but we're gonna
could
do
do
it
like,
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They're just being nice about it, you
You
know?
see the signs in East Windsor about preserving the farmland and stopping the solar?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
we gotta
Go
You
down
drive
there
through
anymore.
like, you know, kind of the Broadbrook area. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is though. I guess the person that owned it died, you know, and whoever is his sister, daughter or something has the land, and they don't have the money to do anything with it. So if they can, for 20 years, you know, they'll keep giving her money.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a girl. The one I knew was involved was a girl one time, and they will be able to keep the land open, or instead of putting.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And supposedly they're supposed to keep inside too, mowed and stuff, you know.
Yeah. And then after the 20
To
years,
keep
they'll,
maintaining
they're
it.
Hmm.
Then after
Let's
that,
see.
the 20 years,
I know.
there's, just say that? Just say that?
Yeah, about restoring it after.
After
Yeah.
20 years, they're supposed to
Yeah.
bring it back to the way it was for land, you know, to be
Yeah.
Yeah.
worked on. That was, they had
Yeah, that all subdivided.
apple orchard, I think, there then too, one
Yes.
time.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Wasn't that Bordeaux?
yes.
Yeah,
The girl that wanted to keep it.
Diane was her name.
And whoever it was, their brother didn't want to keep the
Uh,
farm.
Well, you
Well,
know,
you
it's a
must-
lot of work.
There's no problem anymore. But I wonder, is she still around?
Don't know.
Yeah, she was.
That I don't
Yeah,
know.
he passed away, her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably why they're going forward to try and keep the farm, because this girl was hot at it, you know, and he wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
That's what happens sometimes.
No.
Yeah.
So,
Minutes approval from December 6th. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 6th.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Candy.
Who seconded that?
Was there a
Dan
Dan
did.
did.
And
Dan
Dan
did.
did.
a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion when you're done. I think I do that every meeting.
And then
I'll
you
second
can
that.
All those in favor?
We'll all agree and go
Aye.
home.
Then you can
Oh, I didn't have any dinner.
How'd that happen?
Wanna pull-
Last I looked, it was 8:30.
Oh, yeah.
We're-